5 o'clock. Okay, we'll call this meeting to order. And first order of business is citizen comments. There are no citizens sitting in the audience, therefore there shall be no citizen comments. Approval of the August 6, 2024 minutes. Motion by Spiro, second by Marshall. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Application for secondhand articles dealer's license. Echo ATM, 641 South Central Avenue. What do you got on this? Anything?
That's a business that has previously operated in the city of Marshfield. They had a location in Walmart that they closed. They had a location in Pick and Save for a little while and they closed and now they're reopening. It's a recycling box for used technology, basically.
Okay.
Move to approve.
Okay, moved by Varsho to approve. Is there a second? Second by Spiros. Discussion, there being none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
So carried. Next up is applications for temporary alcohol beverage licenses. We have got 2 of them. We've got Marshfield Eagles Auxiliary number 624, Cranberry Jubilee September 18, 2024 at 305 South Chestnut Avenue. The B is American Legion Post 54, Maple Fall Fest, September 14 and 15, 2024, Wildwood Park and Zoo. What's your pleasure?
Move to approve.
Moved by
Second.
Spiro, second by Varsho to approve. Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. And let's see, number 6, discuss 2025 fee schedule as the fee schedule as it relates to business licensing. That's you.
Yep. So in your packet, I updated the spreadsheet to include some approximations for what's involved for staff time for each business license, as well as the other requirements for that license. So am I mailing notices to them? Am I required to publish that in the newspaper? Is it going for a background check? What sort of other verifications do we have to do along the way? I tried to separate out if it was my time, if it's my staff time, because there's a difference in pay that way, and what other departments might be involved. Is the fire department involved, the police department, development services, which could be building inspector, could be zoning, just a variety of different offices that we coordinate with on all of the licensing. So I tried to put that in somewhat of an understandable form. I don't know if I accomplished that or not. So I'll take any questions, suggestions you have on where we look to go with the fee schedule. Again, this will officially come back as a complete document before the entire finance and council later on in the year. I just want to get that conversation going with this committee as far as licensing goes. Whatever you got.
Anybody have had a chance to look it over? Okay, at least we can have this. And you say that we're going to come back to, this is going to come back to the finance committee, right?
This will eventually go to finance and to council.
Okay,
So I'm just looking for any direction you have on these licenses that you have oversight with this committee.
you've got the current prices on there. And are there any significant changes, or is that, I'm looking, scanning the chart and I don't see anything.
I did not make any suggested changes. I was leaving that to your discretion.
Would it be the sense of the committee to study this and come back and use it at the finance committee before the council meeting on the budget? Would that be okay? Rebecca?
Okay, so I'm just kind of going through this. In the last meeting, I thought there was a couple that had sort of jumped out to me. This chart makes it look a little bit different. When I'm looking, we're pretty close in price to, comparative to Stevens Point and Wausau. The first section involves a lot of stuff. I mean, there's no doubt that we have to do a lot of things for them to get their license. So I think that, in 1.5 hours is a lot of time. So, but we're not behind anybody. I mean, we're sort of equivalent to everybody. Going then down to the operator. Again, we're we're in line other than the amendment fee, and I don't know what that is or how often that happens. What's the amendment fee?
The amendment fee is for the alcohol establishments, so your bars that are looking for a temporary premise amendment. So if, for example, one of the bars is having a party that involves their parking lot, they're required to file a fee with us and a letter. It goes through the fire department, police department for approval for that temporary premise change.
And do the fire department and police department have to go out and assess the area before they give you the approval?
They may, but it could just be based on the map. They're required to, the business owner is required to submit a map and their direction for, are they having security fencing? Are they having actual physical security present at that event? They might check, the fire department would be more likely to check day of to see if there are any fire violations that they're concerned with entrance and exit points.
Okay, and then does the fire department charge a fee to go out and do that?
They do not.
They do not. So, I mean, I don't know, that's, we're a little bit on the low side there for sure. Moving through the rest of it here. Operational provisional, what's that one?
That one is honestly a license that's not used very often anymore because state law changed that this body could direct me to be able to issue a bartender license if the background check came back okay. So that has sped up the process. Usually we can issue that bartender license within 24 hours now. Previously, we had this option if we were waiting to get that bartender license before this body. It could be up to 3 weeks before we could get that application here. So they would get a temporary license in the interim.
Got you. Okay. Let's see. And the operator temporary, I think that's the one I was talking about because I couldn't believe we had something for $2.
Right, and that's the volunteers. Those are the volunteer events, so they are under the direction of someone else already,
Gotcha.
volunteering at the fair or Hub City Days or those types of events.
Okay, sorry to keep repeating, and I know you explained this, but I just have a bad memory. Transient investigation.
That's the background check that we do on all of the workers who are part of a transient merchant, so the door-to-door sales.
That's like the seafood license and the fruit stand guy?
Correct, as well as anyone, the home repair places going door to door. We do a background check on all of those, so that $10 fee covers what I'm charged by the police department for their time and the resources they use on the background check.
Okay. So let's see. Food truck, we're a little bit low on. We all know what that is. We're considerably lower on our price for taxi than Rapids. Why is that? And even Stevens Point has an additional fee. So that's $25. What is that for, the taxi?
So for us, the taxi, it's a one-page application. They include all of the information on each of the taxis. With the way that law is written, the city is owner of the taxi, so we should have that information already. But it's just to make sure for all insurance purposes that we're keeping accurate count of everything happening there. And it is an annual renewal for that fee. The taxi drivers themselves are licensed through the police department. So that $32 fee for a taxi driver is actually taken care of down at the police department.
For a taxi driver, okay.
Driver.
So the one that's up here though that I'm talking about, this is 25.
Right.
Who pays that? The taxi company, the taxi drivers?
That's the company that pays that.
Okay, so we're a little low on that. That might be one that we could consider going up a little bit on. And that's kind of all I really see here. So I don't know. I mean, are we looking for a motion to raise some of these, or Brian, do you have any thoughts that you want to input?
No, you mentioned the couple that I thought about anyway, so.
Okay. So are you looking for a motion to raise these fees?
That would be completely up to what you would like to do. If you are looking to raise fees, I would like to get that in a motion form at some point so that I have just documentation that it's your direction and not me making this up, and then we'll bring it to finance later on.
You don't need me to specify what ones?
Yes, I would like which license and what amount you would like it. if you would like to raise anything or make any changes.
Okay.
Do you need a little more time to look it over, Lynette?
I wish I had a highlighter. It keeps me straight. I do think there are a couple areas. It won't work on my computer. So I think there are a couple of areas that probably we could go up. I don't want to fee people out. I really just don't. But I feel like when we invest staff time and things like that, that's you got to pay for that. I mean, that's just how I kind of think about that. I think a couple of them that I mentioned, let's go back to the ones that I mentioned. I'm sorry to keep holding this up. I know this is taking me a minute.
That's all right.
So, let's see. So I think the amendment fee, even though it's not used very often, I'd like to see that go up from 10 to 20. Because like I say, we don't use it very often, but there is time involved in getting that done.
That was the provisional operators or?
The amendment fee and then the operational provisional. So, Stevens Point charges double what we do. What's anyone's opinion? 15 to 20?
15.
What was that one?
What?
Raise it from 15 to 20?
Yes.
Okay, so for the operational provisional from 15 to 20. The operational temporary, those are volunteers. I don't want to do anything with that, even though that's crazy to me, $2. Let's see here. The transient investigation, there's a wide range in Rapids. I wonder why that range is so large, but we're way on the low end of that. So rather see that go up from 10 to 20.
Okay.
Let me see. Taxi, the first one listed where it says just taxi. I would like to see that go from 25 to 35, which is about equivalent to what Stevens Point is paying, and much less than what Rapids is paying, even with that increase. I think that's it for me.
Okay.
So I'll put that in the form of a motion, all of
Okay.
that.
Second.
The motion and second to raise the fees or recommend raising the fees to the finance committee and eventually to the council. And the motion's been made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, and it carries. Items for future agendas. Anybody got them? Last call. That being the case, we'll move on to the final bit, adjourn. Motion by Varsho, second by Ms. Spiros to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Thank you very much. We are adjourned.